Hello, guys. Welcome to the Limitless experience. I am Akash, and thank you for tuning in. जो आज के हमारे जो गेस्ट है, she is the founder and CEO of Meerakle Media, the boss lady herself, Shivpriya Sumbha.
Hi Akash.
Hi Shivpriya, and thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure actually to be invited by you.
Oh my God, I am actually overwhelmed because of that. ये जो second attempt कर रहे हैं record करने का because of some technical issues पिछले week. So I am very grateful कि आपने अपना time दिया.
Actually, I was very guilty कि I couldn't do it the first time and इतना सारा issue आया तो I was like let's get done with this as early as possible.
Why and when did you think of starting Miracle Media?
Actually, it was so abrupt. I did my graduation, and because, like you know, I'm a chemical engineer, and I obviously expected to have a career over there. But then I found a certain zest for writing, and I figured out that writing is basically the core of any kind of marketing that you do on internet, and that's where my interest kind of started pouring in. I started giving more attention to my career into writing and into marketing, and I kind of learned everything on my own. तो मैंने वहीं से शुरुआत की, फ्रीलांस करती गई मैं, पहले कुछ टाइम जॉब किया, फिर फ्रीलांसिंग किया, फ्रीलांसिंग करते करते वर्क स्टार्टेड पोरिंग इन थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही, तो people suggested that you go for hire people, ऐसे कर करके it reached a particular point where I felt कि अभी मुझे कंपनी को रजिस्टर कर देना चाहिए, and that's where the registration happened, and then we kind of like give us a full time company or entity, and and I think the last 2 years have been very great. Successfully, we've delivered a lot of digital marketing projects into different arenas. My clients are in different parts of India, and some of the clients are also abroad, and it kind of like feels overwhelming certain times. Sometimes it does feel okay, this is what I always wanted to do, but like in fact I don't think I would have done anything else if not this.
So, Shivpriya, what is your take on entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship doesn't come like pre-decided. You don't take your education with a preconceived thought in mind that after this I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna run a particular business, unless you have it like from your forefathers or something like that. If you want to start something on your own, everything happens by chance. It just happens. Maybe you have a certain zeal to start something on your own, and then you kind of like try and try, but it never comes to the point, okay, I'm gonna have my own business and it's gonna be successful. ऐसे नहीं होता है कभी कि हम एक preconceived thought से आए. So obviously, like whether it is service industry, whether it is a product industry या किसी भी तरीके का startup हो, I think there are so many challenges that one has to face that people kind of like overcome. People kind of like overlook these challenges and kind of feel that all that at the end of the day we get is money and respect and fame, or like, or power, or like the integrity of the entire career choice. But it's not just that. I feel a lot of money also is supposed to be put in with regards to operation and everything. A lot of hard work also goes into the fact कि हमें एक company चलानी है, and you to like get more sales, because at the end of the day we like give people their salaries. So it's, and like overall your sustainability is kind of dependent morally on your business. So you kind of like have to maintain an integral balance between what do you earn, how much you make the profit, and how much have you sourced your income out of it, and eventually at the end of the day how much profit is your company making, and at the end of the day also your job satisfaction or your work satisfaction. So it's very it's kind of unfair if people say कि entrepreneurs को बिल्कुल भी challenges नहीं है, या फिर like people only see the cream part of it. Because see, like I'm not like saying कि job में नहीं है, everything has its own pros and cons, but at the end of the day see, when somebody's working or when somebody's having a job, you have to work for 9 to 5, and or maybe like 10 to 10 or whatever. आजकल तो 12 घंटे लोग काम करते हैं. But then you shut it and you are into your own world. That's not the case with us. I don't remember there has been a single day where I have not looked through my work. हमेशा ऐसे हुआ ही है, whether होली हो या दिवाली हो या कुछ भी हो, कि क्लाइंट का मैसेज नहीं आया हो, ऐसे नहीं होता है. we have to answer. And there are clients I have who even message on Sunday. They do not see if we have a holiday or not. Like whenever they want a message, and we have to be answerable to them. Obviously, now I have drawn my own boundaries, and now I don't like uplead it, because you have a personal life as well. And like I to kind of try to put that balance ahead, but definitely a lot of challenges, and it's not for the weak-hearted people.
Okay, so we can say the struggle is real. Yeah, जो लोग सिर्फ हासिल कर पाते हैं सिर्फ वही लोग सर्वाइव करते हैं.
हसल हसल तो सबको ही है, मतलब जॉब भी है, यहाँ पे भी है, बट मतलब क्या ही बोलूं, मतलब लाइक जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि चमड़ी थोड़ा मोटा होना चाहिए, मतलब गिव अप करना तुम्हारे इसमें नहीं होना चाहिए. लाइक यू नीड टू बी वेरी पेशेंट, बिकॉज यू नेवर नो कि कब तुम्हारा बिजनेस चले कब नहीं चले. You have to kind of maintain that integrity, maintain that bank balance, maintain the positioning of your brand. So it's always like a 3-4 feet, 3-4 steps on 3-4 different things always.
अगर आप अगर जाके किसी को जाके बताओगे जो उतना ज़्यादा ओपन माइंडेड नहीं है, मैं मेरा बिजनेस करता हूँ, मैं मेरा बिजनेस करती हूँ, देन their reaction would be like क्यों बिजनेस क्यों कर रहे हो, जॉब क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो, जॉब सेटिस्फैक्शन नहीं है क्या, स्टेबल इनकम होता है, जॉब सिक्योरिटी होता है, अगर काम नहीं करोगे तो भी आपको महीने की 1 तारीख को सैलरी तो आ ही जाएगी. So that is the case, but people what fail to understand is कि इसमें जो हम हार्ड वर्क पुट इन करते हैं, लाइक स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट, वील हैव टू लिव बिलो योर मीन्स फॉर सम टाइम, वील हैव टू मैनेज स्ट्रेस, द एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड वर्क हैज टू बी गुड, एंड ऑल्सो many things, जो क्योंकि पैसा तो हमेशा आना ही चाहिए, तभी जाके हम लोगों की सैलरी देंगे, राइट. तो what I feel is entrepreneurs are really underappreciated in our society.
I beg to differ a little, because I kind of feel the challenge that you have put forth is a little gender biased and is more towards the men in the society and not so much
Okay.
towards the women. I'll tell you why. If let's say a woman is running a business, people are only going to like appreciate her too much. Like at times I feel that people overrate me, and it's true. People kind of overrate me because I feel I'm a woman and I'm doing my own business, and they're like, "Oh, you're doing so good" and everything. But I kind of feel that I mean, obviously, I'm not being too much modest, or I'm not like underestimating myself. But I kind of feel that yes, I do have a business and I kind of like run it and everything's fine. But it's not as much of a big a deal as you make it sound. For women, the same thing a guy would do, you'd be like, oh, okay, he has a business, he does something, karta hai kuch to, something like that. But if I do it, I'm given like too much positioning. That is wrong.
Okay.
Because if a guy does it, you're going to judge him, you're going to be like, okay, but aapko ladki kaun dega, and all of those preconceived notions. जो एक entrepreneurs के साथ होता है, like I've seen people, I've seen my friends who are into like the marriage marriage setup right now, or finding a bride or something.
Marriage वाली age में.
Yeah, in that marriage group right now, and they kind of like fear the same thing, that because there is no like a steady income, people kind of feel that okay, company to kabhi bhi band ho sakti hai, and why like go for a job, only then we will be able to kind of give you a bride. But I mean, sad story, but here it is. Like, if I do the same, people are only going to be appreciative. Oh, you go, girl, women empowerment, and all of that things. It's kind of sad, but that's how it is.
So, as you have mentioned, female entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship को अगर हम total space में देखें, तो जो sex ratio है वो काफी कम है. Like, जो difference है वो काफी ज़्यादा है. So, जो balance है वो maintained नहीं है. Why is that? Why do you feel? अगर जैसा आपने बताया कि थोड़ा बहुत जेंडर बायस होता है entrepreneurship में, तो women should be taking entrepreneurship more, right?
Yeah, but I have actually felt that the same, like women being less in this particular field is the kind of thing that is prevalent everywhere. It's the same case everywhere, whether you take pilots, whether you take any sort of business, that's out there. There are less women as compared to men, and practically also because there are 937 females in India over 1,000 males. So any which way the sex ratio in India is less. So any which way the females out there are also less as compared to men. again, like all there's also like chronicle issues to it, like like women are more interested into the marriage thing. Most of them do not even have the opportunity to kind of like get their own education. uh, yeah, so then obviously then तो मतलब रोजी रोटी का मतलब कोई है ही नहीं chance, like you don't get that footage to kind of like step ahead and take a certain education. तो कहाँ से मतलब वो parallel lines draw होगी, नहीं होगी. But having said that, the only like a little unfair idea about women who have achieved and are out there now working. The only idea is like it is very unfair to even like say it out loud that like how we don't say male pilot or male engineer, we say female entrepreneur. It's kind of like very weird to say, but that's how it is. That's how it has always been. The bias that I kind of feel is a little chauvinism when it comes to women entrepreneurship, because I feel I like no matter how good I am or how skilled I am, there are these people, like some section, like maybe 2% of it or something, but there is this certain section who will not listen or who would not find me still qualified enough because I'm not a man. Um, let's say I kind of like there was this one, wouldn't name the company, but I was this company that I was working with as a client, like it was my client and a huge company, like people know the company very well, and it's like a huge brand out there in the market. And the only problem that I kind of felt was like I gave the same marketing strategies that a certain male contemporary from their department or from a certain third party department gave, and I did give the same sort of advice or made the same sort of campaigns. But let's say when I made the campaigns, I was told, yeah, okay, we'll see. And then when the male person gave the same kind of campaign, it kind of got an approval. जो काफी मुझे इतना मतलब मैं काफी चौंकी हुई थी उस चीज पे. बट एंड इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम कि मुझे ऐसा हुआ है उनके साथ, ऐसे काफी बार हुआ. Where I kind of felt that they kind of like give an upscaled priority to only men in general, and not when a certain advice comes from a woman and entrepreneur, and no matter like must be 5 years more experienced than him, it wouldn't matter. पर उसने बोला तो बराबर ये किया, तो वो एक तो like it scares the shit out of me, and it just horrifies me, and I like let that particular project in a month or so.
Gender bias भी होता है, and then there are also cons on in being an entrepreneur in this space for a girl. So workplace harassment is a thing, right? Be it physical, be it mental, it's a thing. Have you ever experienced that?
No, I haven't kind of experienced harassment, but I've seen it happen to people. Not into the startup industry. I belong to a startup industry, but I've never experienced it in the startup industry. But I've experienced people having certain sort of harassment into MNCs. Like I have friends who are into MNCs, and I kind of felt that people are, I don't know, to another level egoistic over there, or to another level, I don't know, like sexually uninformed and all of that, those things. That is something that I have kind of felt. With regards to a certain sort of harassment that I noticed is a very prevalent one: toxicity, gaslighting, and all of those things, where somebody is like, you could be explaining out your point, but they are overlooking. Like let's say you're a guy and you're telling your boss you have a certain issue, and he completely overlooks your point and gives out his opinion and tries to make you and tries to convince you that this is the right one, and kind of molds you into becoming that or agreeing to him. That's kind of like called as gaslighting. Like when you kind of completely mold somebody's opinion and turn it into yours. That's kind of mentally torturing somebody, but people don't realize it. हमें बस लगता है कि हम इसके साथ बातों में लड़ नहीं सकते, और वो बातों में घुमाने में बहुत ज्यादा शातिर है. ये बातों में घुमाना बहुत अलग बात होता है, और गैसलाइट करना इज रॉन्ग. एंड someday in society, like gaslighting should actually be offensive. I'm not sure if it is right now actually, but it should be, because gaslighting is a huge thing and it does happen to women. Let's say I have a certain opinion, and let's say if I tell it to after marriage, let's say if I tell it to my husband, or let's say if I tell it to my boyfriend, and he gives out his opinion about it and tries to convince me whatever my thinking ability is right now, or whatever decision that I have reached is wrong, and whatever he is saying is kind of right, and kind of like bullies me into believing it, is gaslighting. So that is something which is very toxic, and I have always felt it into startup industries. Again, the same thing, the toxicity also prevails in gender biasness, where a female employee is like overlooked so much and is like, like not looked up with great regard, but like a man, it's kind of like given up a hero status, so that kind of like happens. So this kind of toxicity I have felt.
Where is your office, by the way?
So my office is in Turbe. It's in Navi Mumbai. It's more or less near Vashi. It's on the highway, Mumbai-Pune highway. Have a base over here. I also had a base in Pune, but obviously because lockdown's there and everything's there, so everybody's working from home. So right now just Mumbai. But when everything starts, probably by May or June, I kind of plan to restart again by the 1st of June in Pune as well. So then my visits become kind of frequent.
As far as I know, you work in a co-working space, right?
I do.
So, is working in a co-working space fun? How is the experience?
I don't think I would have wanted it any other way, to be very honest. And I'm not promoting 91 Springboard over here, and maybe I have. But I have seen private offices, because I've worked in a particular office before, getting into a co-working element. And then I joined co-working space, and it's much more fun. And not just fun, there's a lot of networking that happens. You can't sit with just your people, your kind of office, and your employees, and just do your job. No, you need to interact with 10 different people, 10 different companies, see what they're doing, and kind of like have an open perspective to things. So co-working space का सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये है कि there is a lot of networking that happens, like a lot of it, and that's very fruitful for your business. You wouldn't want it any other way. Let's say you want a photographer and the other company wants a writer. Let's say they want a photographer or a videographer and you want a writer, and you tell them, okay, like let's have a barter, or let's compensate or negotiate up to our pricing and everything. But then you get it in the same office space as you have. Like say for example, you don't have to like outsource it out and then call him hua kya kaam and all of those things. It's in the same office space. You can just book a meeting room and discuss the work.
The workplace harassment thing won't be a real challenge in working if you're working in a co-working space, because everybody would be worried about their own reputation as a brand, their own company. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. But then again, you wouldn't ever know. Like it happens between the thin lines, right? Harassment happens between the thin lines. Nobody out loud says that okay, हमारी कंपनी में harassment होता है. किस तरीके का harassment होता है हमें कैसे पता? Like obviously the chances here are much less, like 50% less or 80% less. But then you never know. It's always in the thin line. It's always in the thin air. You never know कि किसके साथ किस तरीके का harassment हो रहा है या क्या हो रहा है. Like, you never have an idea, right? Like somebody would be mentally torturing their employee or not giving salaries for let's say 3 months, telling them that okay, तू कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा है, तू कुछ आता नहीं है.
You mentioned salaries. So जब lockdown हुआ था, तो did you pay salaries to your employees? जब सारा lockdown का था, सारा business बंद हो गया था?
Yes, actually, I fortunately, touch wood, did not feel the need to cut down on any kind of salary, any kind of compensation, or any kind of even employees. ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि कुछ employees कम हुआ या कुछ हुआ. Like if at all anybody, any of my employees are watching, if anybody discontinued the work, it was with mutual decision or something like that, or it was with the fact that maybe there were some challenges with respect to work, but never in the lockdown period. Like I don't remember anybody discontinuing the work in the 6 months that we kind of like started. And in fact, most of my employees that are there right now got hired during that period, because then certain work started pouring in and kind of like wanted to expand our hiring process. And I remember there were a few days where I was like taking at least 17 to 18 interviews in a day. I don't know how, but we still managed it during the lockdown. It was like very hectic. Like I used to get free around 10:30 p.m. at home, and but no, the salaries were on time, the compensation and everything was up there. So that's what business is, right? My business doesn't allow me to go out of my ethics. My business doesn't allow me to not pay somebody who has worked, right? Like if you worked, you'll be paid. Or if I'm not able to pay, I'll let you know. But thankfully that has
Okay.
never happened. And if I do not have a budget, I tell it beforehand that okay, I can pay you only this much. Only then you can join, correct? And then that becomes like a personal choice if you want to join in or if you want to not join in or something. But I always tell my budget beforehand. It has never happened that I have offered somebody okay 5 rupees salary, but then after working for 15 days, I have told them okay, abhi salary is 2 rupees. Like that has never happened. Because whatever I have offered, I have offered.
So, what services does Miracle Media provide on a basic scale?
Yeah, so I think you've been through my website and all, right?
Yeah, that is a very intuitive website actually. I loved it. The moment I saw it, I scrolled through the website. I actually loved it. And when we discussed the same thing, right? You said that you have designed it. You yourself have designed it. So actually, respect, bro. The website is actually quite amazing.
मुझे एक्चुअली कोडिंग वगैरह का कुछ भी नॉलेज नहीं था सो फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन सजेस्टेड दैट गेट इट डन ऑन वर्डप्रेस and even for WordPress developer, like this friend of mine, he himself was a WordPress developer, but I knew I couldn't afford it, and he himself told me that you need not get it done from anybody else. Just go through the tutorials, just go on the back end, see how things work, and just get started. So we finalized the template and everything, like just started calling it, and I kind of like gave it a month. और मैं खुद अपने काम के बीच में से जाके अपलोड करती थी, कंटेंट लिखती थी. Content actually, a writer wrote, a friend and a writer who also works with Meerakle Media on certain projects, she wrote it for me, and I think she did a fabulous job with respect to the content. I don't think I would have had it any other way. Like, so I kind of like just gave her an input कि मुझे थोड़ा ऐसा content चाहिए, like it should be SEO specific, but it should also be a little cool. It should like get in touch. It should look like a cool agency and everything. I should have that Mumbai touch to it, like Vada Pavs and Marine Drive and all of those things. And I think she did some magic. I don't know, like Subhashri, if you're watching this, like I've thanked her so many times, but it's always less. She's done a fabulous job on the content of the website. And then I started uploading it, designing it, and all of those things happened. Because at that time, we couldn't afford a WordPress developer at all. So then I was like, okay, I'll do it on my own. Now, with regards to services, we are into social media, SEO, and content. In that order, I try to test 3 services. It's social media management, completely end-to-end, whether it is ad campaigns or whether it is organic posting, designing content, everything. Then comes the SEO, which is search engine optimization, where you kind of like put people on Google page 1. That's there. Then there's content. There's actually videography. There's photography, and there's LinkedIn marketing, email marketing, and all of these things as well. But most of the projects that I have, also 360 degree, but most of the projects that I have are into affiliate, SEO, content, and social media.
Yeah, I am very interested in knowing on your thoughts. What is the importance of being financially independent for a girl?
Oh, so much. Like this is one thing that I might get goosebumps of because I cannot imagine somebody not earning. Like, what do you do all day? Like, I get it, and with all hats off, like all due respect to housewives and everybody, but I kind of still feel that like you might divide your jobs and like आप पैसा कमाओ और मैं घर को चलाती हूँ and everything and I look after the house, but I still feel that there is some sort of financial independence needed. आजकल के ज़माने में and everything, like how do you like how do you embrace your individuality if you're not earning? Like so many women out there, I kind of feel like you never know, you might not earn and then you get married, and let's say you get married to a stupid guy and the stupid guy in a fight tells you to get out of my house. What do you do? And so many people out there are stuck in marriages because they don't have a financial independence. Right, so many people we see in villages are facing domestic violence, are facing domestic violence for dowry and all of those things, but they cannot get out of marriage क्योंकि कहाँ जाएंगे? फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस ही नहीं है, घर ही नहीं है, कहाँ जाएंगे? And it is not that society where your parents would be like, okay, you come back to this house. If they would have been like this, they would have just like given the child the education and then she would have started earning. So kind of like feel that, you know, it is so damn important to kind of like be financially independent. So much important. Like you get married, you do anything, but you have your own value base, you have your own money, you have your own independence, no matter what you do. लाइक डू सिलाई का काम वट एवर, जरूरी नहीं है पैसा कमाने के लिए चाहिए एजुकेशन, नहीं है, डू वट एवर, इफ वट एवर, लाइक यू आर इन विलेज और एनीवेयर, you can, there are n number of means to earn money. If you have talent, you kind of like can get noticed, so there are so many courses that you can do out there, right? And so many free courses for the government and all of those schemes, like so many free courses. Like आजकल BA MA का भी फीस इतना नहीं होता है जितना हमें लगता है. You get it through a government college, you don't have so much fees.
Actually, what I've seen in during this lockdown, that many of the businesses have started in at least in our area of the city, that women have started baking cakes and then
Yeah.
selling them. It has taken off on a different scale totally. Like in every nook and corner, I am able to see the poster of the cake shop, the homemade cakes, and those are pretty good cakes. Actually,
Yeah.
I actually was surprised that many women have taken this job and they have started this business just because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
They have realized their potential and then.
Yeah, because लॉकडाउन में ऐसा ही हुआ ना कि लाइक सैलरी 50% पे आ गई बहुत सारे लोगों की, and people started finding different means of earning, and that was cool. I mean, like people have the talent. Like I'll tell you this one thing. There is this channel on YouTube that I follow. So I like to cook a lot, and I like to cook a lot of like Chinese, Italian, you know, like American, and even Maharashtrian cuisine a lot. And there's this Maharashtrian channel that I follow. It's named as Apli Aji. It's on YouTube, and this Apli Aji channel has like a millions of views and millions of subscribers. And that Aji, the lady who cooks, the grandmother who cooks, she is 85 plus, and she along with her grandson shoots the videos and posts it, and she is the one who kind of makes the recipes and everything, and she does everything on her own. Like she has a mortar and pestle where she kind of like make the masalas and everything, like all traditional way. She's from Gao, and look at that woman, like she's 85 plus and she goes Insta live and all of those things. Like she's doing something. She cannot even speak properly, she cannot speak any other language if not Marathi, and that lady must be earning so much now, or if not earning, she has a certain individuality of her own, right? Like I don't just know her as some villager, I know her as a YouTuber, I know her as the best cooking channel. So that's so cool.
A pretty famous one, a pretty famous YouTuber then.
Yeah, a very pretty famous YouTuber, and she has that silver button and everything. So it's so cool.
As we were talking about the financial independence for a girl, are you taking any steps in encouraging women around you to be financially independent and then take up jobs, earn something, or be an entrepreneur by themselves?
I wouldn't just say entrepreneurs as such because I'm not so sure of it.
No, not just entrepreneurs, but just start earning, but do something.
Yeah. So I have actually come through a lot of women, or people have put me in touch with a lot of girls who've come from smaller places and do not have so much of guidance initially in life. And I kind of feel that everybody has needs that sort of kind of like push, especially these women, especially these girls, because they do not know anybody over here. They do not have an experience of talking with people. They do not have an experience of working in a certain working space or anything like that. They've just done their education from a certain college in their village or something. And I remember there was this one girl who was very good with her designing skills. So I kind of like told her that graphic designing is a good option for you. And I understand that you do not have money to go for a full-time course, and you need not. You just practice it. So she has a job now and she's like earning very good. She's working in a certain startup and everything. So you need that kind of push. And for them, like, you know, like these girls who, like, their income back home was barely 10,000 or 12,000 for the entire family. And when this girl comes out of that situation over here in Mumbai, does something, starts talking to people, and now she has this job for a year and she earns like good 30,000 rupees, which is a huge deal for them because she can send some at least 20,000 rupees back home. It's like at least double the income that her father kind of made. right? And it's a huge deal for them. They're so proud of their daughter, and I think it makes me more happy. And I don't charge for all of this because there's nothing that I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. These girls are making a life for themselves on their own. All that I am doing is giving a little push. Like I feel I'm privileged, sitting in an AC office, sitting in chair, like doing things. We get to work, we get to eat, we have a roof. What more do we need? And we can speak well, and we're earning good. What more? We can always push these people who do not have anything, or who do not like, because these are talented people, okay, and they're like graduates. And let's say अगर किसी ने BSc भी किया है या BA भी किया रहता है, तो इतना तो कैपेबल है कि तुम थोड़ा ग्रूमिंग करोगे तो उसको जॉब मिल जाएगा, करेक्ट? तो बस वैसा ही है, बस तुम्हें बस थोड़ा सा पुश देना है, एंड like they can, because it's a world of bully. Like I remember जब मैं आई थी, I was 18, and when I came to Mumbai, and obviously ऐसा था कि मुझे तो मतलब like जब हमारे कॉलेज में आयरोली में, तो मुझे एक सर्टन पीजी में रखा गया था मॉम डैड ने, एंड dad was like so reluctant, like he was on the verge of crying, and I was crying, and you know, like मुझे फर्स्ट डे जब मेरे मॉम डैड गए, मैं सुबह उठी तो मुझे वहां से, वो पीजी से मेरे ऑफिस, मेरे कॉलेज का रास्ता भी याद नहीं था, मैं पूछ पूछ के गई. एंड आई हैड अ Symbian phone at that point of time, like a Nokia Symbian something. तो उसमें
I've been there.
yeah, and I kind of felt that, you know, there was nobody who looked after me. Like I remember कि एक बार ऐसे ही हुआ था कि स्टार्टिंग में मेस भी नहीं था मेरे पास, एंड रोज रोज मैं क्या, मतलब वो प्रियंका होटल से खाना मंगवाती थी, एंड आई वाज रियली बोर्ड. एंड आई थिंक one fine day I told my mom कि there was this a certain relative that who stayed in Airoli itself, and I wouldn't name her, but I think my mom called her up and she said कि Shivpriya will come tonight for dinner. She's actually a little homesick and उसको mess भी नहीं मिल रही है for lunch, for dinner. And I went at their house for dinner, and they did not treat me well. Like they like they kind of made sure to tell me कि okay, you can't come every day to our place for dinner, and you know we are feeding you and stuff. And I was like, बस मैं एक ही ट्रिप पे आया, मुझे खाना भी नहीं खाया एक्चुअली, मैं बहुत ही ऐसे एक रोटी खा के निकल गई, you know, all of those things. So I've kind of like faced all of that, and I kind of, and thankfully I was privileged that my father gave me a phone and money, and you know, like my parents were educated, they kind of like helped me through this, that they were like, what do you have to do, you just ask people, go local में चढ़ना इतना difficult नहीं है, just ask and go, like you'll figure it out on your own. And they were cool about it, and I was like, okay, at least I'm privileged that I have the money to go, or like, get an auto, or like whatever, cab or जो भी है. So but a lot of people do not have that, and you like literally should push as many you know, young people as much as you can, and that's where you kind of like grow. And that's a certain level of another satisfaction that you get, like a certain another level of satisfaction, like you wouldn't ever get it, you know, like the best thing, I mean, what makes us happy? Kindness, being kind makes me happy, like literally.
Yeah, and helping others.
Yeah, and I really, it really makes me happy कि ये लोग कहीं ना कहीं अपने लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ कर रहे हैं, you know.
Yeah, जो आपने कॉलेज की बात की, I've literally been there, because the moment my father left after admitting me into a PG, because we have studied in the same college, right? So I can remember I was not able to talk to anyone because I was a shy kid, and I used to hang around a specific group of people. Those were my friends. I actually knew those 7 people inside out, and then no one else. Amount of confidence that I've gained by coming to Mumbai, living all by myself, making friends, the amount of confidence I have gained, I am literally thankful that of my that one stupid decision that चलो मुंबई जाके देखते हैं क्या होने वाला है.
Yeah.
Let's just see, देखते हैं, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. Do you feel the same because of that one decision you have taken?
Yeah. And I'm so grateful. Like in the first year, I think I used to cry at the drop of hat. I still do cry at the drop of hat. But I think in my first year, my friends were so helpful. Like I had these 4 girlfriends who literally helped me through everything. Like literally everything. Like I had my first birthday and I was crying badly because I had nobody. And my friends, they took me to their house. Their mom baked the cake for me, and like we had a little small birthday party with their family, and it was so good. And I Like nobody has done something like this. And then like other friend of mine, she arranged a birthday party for me, and like another friend. So these girlfriends were like out there with me through everything that I faced in the first year of college, like literally everything. And it was so great. Like I'm grateful to these bunchies, but I'm also like grateful to other people who kind of like gave me a lot of hatred as well. And it came out of nowhere. It also maybe I don't know, like people have a problem with somebody who's confident. I don't know. Like, people have problem with a girl who's confident. I don't know. I always spoke my mind. I was always like whether it was in my first year or whether it was in my final year or whether it is now. And I remember in my first year being myself. Like I would never take a shit from anybody. And I was a chicken hearted soul, but I still never took shit from anybody. And I was subjected to a lot of flick and a lot of hatred as well. And it's a mean word out there. Not people are not kind always.
Having a mentor always helps. So how important is that?
Yeah, like I told you, guidance is important. I wouldn't like call it a mentor. Mentor, like you need not like follow or preach whatever the mentor tells you, but you need a guidance. You need somebody to give you a push into something, right? Like I got into engineering. I wanted to first of all, I wanted to become a doctor like my mother, but it never really worked out because I never studied so much, or my stars never aligned. Also, but also because I didn't study so much. But then after that, the other thing that I wanted to do after it was like I wanted to get into journalism, or I wanted to get into the writing aspect of journalism. But my father, he never. Or I think people back there in Nagpur, no matter how educated or how modern they are or how cool they are, they wouldn't ever be okay with these fields. Like this mass media and mass communication is a completely new world to them. And कितना भी explain करो ना वो नहीं समझ पाएंगे. Like never. And I really did try to kind of like sit with him and explain. बट एंड एक्चुअली मैं बहुत ही जिद करके वापस आई थी मुंबई और मैंने मेरे मॉम के साथ मेरी एडमिशन भी करा दी थी मास मीडिया बट माय फादर वाज जस्ट नॉट हैप्पी एंड देन व्हेन आई वेंट बैक होम वन डे आई थिंक ये प्लेस कुछ ये रिजल्ट्स लगे थे ये होता है ना ये कॉलेज मिलने का
अलॉटमेंट होता है
प्रेफरेंस फॉर्म का एंड देन आई रियलाइज्ड दैट आई गॉट दिस गद्दा मेके थिंग एंड इनटू केमिकल एंड माय फादर काइंड ऑफ लाइक आई वुडंट से ही pacified me into it, but whatever he said, like kind of had a positive approach to it, and he did not convince me also. He didn't even have to convince me. He just told me that, okay, where do you see yourself in 20 years? Like I remember having this conversation, and like whenever it comes to career or like whatever personal, whatever I have, I always have to speak to my mom first, never like my dad. So I think when जब ये रिजल्ट लगा था तो ऐसा होता है कि 2 दिन में पहुंचना होता है एडमिशन करने राइट एंड इट्स नागपुर से मुंबई आना है रिजर्वेशन नहीं है कुछ नहीं है एंड आई थिंक द मॉम नहीं थी घर पे एंड इट वाज वेरी ऑकवर्ड कि अब मुझे मेरे डैड के साथ बात करनी है लाइक आई वाज वेरी फ्यूरियस बिकॉज़ ही इज नेवर गोइंग टू लिसन एंड ही विल कन्विंस मी इनटू इट सो it was his dad and me at home and he asked me okay where do you see yourself in 20 years what do you want to do and I told him I want to write books. I remember very clearly telling him कि मुझे like I want to be known as an author to a certain book, and he said, okay, then why do you have to do journalism for it? Why do you have to be a journalist or a journal or a mass media student for it? You can do your engineering. There are so many people out there who can do whatever they want in life, but get a good education first, get a good degree. And I kind of gave into it. But not just gave, I was fully convinced because I really at that point of time felt that okay, this degree will hold a certain value in my life. And it came out to be true. So when digital marketing career happened, तो मैंने मुझे एक्चुअली एक जगह पे जॉब जो था तो वहाँ पे दिसंबर में ज्वाइन था तो काफ़ी 5-6 महीने थे तो मैंने पापा को बोला कि अभी मैं राइटिंग का वगैरह जॉब कर रही हूँ ये तो और मैं अभी जब डिजिटल मार्केटिंग कंपनी चालू किया तो उन्होंने मुझे एक बार भी नहीं रोका लाइक आई रिमेंबर कि ही हैज़ कम टू दिस ऑफिस ऑफ माइंड एंड ही हैज़ सीन दिस ऑफिस एंड आई एम लाइक वेरी ग्लैड फॉर इट दैट ही actually saw this office of mine. I remember my dad's wallet always has my visiting card, always had my visiting card and stuff. So I think I had that push. That's why I kind of like came over here. If I wouldn't have had that push, I wouldn't be anywhere.
So we can put it in a nutshell that if you have a certain dream, all you need is a little push, not anything more than that, because I guess that will motivate you much more than what you are doing it right for yourself right now.
Absolutely. And what is the best push in life? The best push in life is the support of your parents. What else?
Yeah, correct.
और कुछ नहीं चाहिए लाइफ में, कोई मेंटर वेंटर नहीं चाहिए, पेरेंट्स ने सपोर्ट किया बस फिर मैं राजा. You know, it's always like this. और क्या चाहिए लाइफ में? Nothing else. Like you get the support of your parents, you're king.
Yeah, you're done actually. You're halfway there.
Yeah, always.
Did you ever feel like quitting? कि इतना ज़्यादा pressure हो गया, the amount of pressure that it's too much for me, that I just quit. I just close my shop, put down the shutter and leave.
No, I never felt so. I never allowed myself to get into that black hole. Never did. Like obviously challenges तो हमेशा ही होते हैं, and मेरे इसमें भी ऐसे challenges हुए. I remember when I had a personal loss in life 2 years back on the exact same date as today. I went into a certain cocoon.
I am actually very sorry.
So when I had this personal loss, I had to put in a lot of money to it, a lot of money, and like really a lot of money. And after that, I kind of felt that I did not even work for the next 3 months. I only was struggling to find my own value. I was only struggling to come to office and open my laptop. That's all I could do. I was just like going through things and tabs. I never really like worked on my sales. And there was a time where I had a certain expense to be cleared at the end of the month. It was some 60,000 something, and I remember I had like maybe 7,000 rupees in my account at the start of the month, and I was like, if I don't get it at the end of the month, I'll have to ask mom money, and I do not want to do it. Like I do not want to put that pressure onto somebody, and I used to like cry profusely. And people out there, like people around me, used to tell me, "You'll get through this. You'll get through this. Keep some patience. Wait till the 29th day. On the 29th day, if you don't have it, then
you can ask for.
Then you ask mom. You can cut down on your expense for a month. Like you always like कुछ cut down कर सकते हैं, right? And I have like certain EMIs to be paid and all of those things. तो ऐसा हुआ, but then I never thought, and I went back to office with the same willpower every day with a new head start, and I started working, and I remember by the end of the day, end of the month, I had 3 times or 4 times more the amount I required. So I kind of realized that you giving up is not a choice. It could be a choice for people, but I never made it a choice for me. Or I kind of like always made sure to never go into that black hole where I have to quit. I never had the thought of quitting. Yes, maybe in a certain low moment of mine, I have maybe like thought कि okay ये नहीं तो एक बैकअप क्या रहेगा कि ठीक है जॉब कर लूँगी डिजिटल मार्केटिंग में 1-2 महीने थोड़ा पैसा कमा लूँगी फिर वापस से रीस्टार्ट करूँगी साइमल्टेनियसली फ्रीलांस प्रोजेक्ट करूँगी ऐसा सोचा रहेगा but I have never thought कि okay this is the moment where I have to like give up and give all of this off. Never. I don't think. There are 2 things I think right now apart from materialistic 2 things, not materialistic, like non-living human 2 things that I would never give up. One is my business and the other is the city, and I don't think I'm ever going to give up on either of them. I think these are 2 things that kind of like makes me going, keeps me going. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Giving up is never a choice actually. Don't you agree?
Yeah, totally. Giving up is never a choice, but then like I cannot analyze it for people who gave up. Maybe they had no option. So
yeah,
you never know.
That's correct. Shivpriya, do you read?
I read a lot. As a child, I have read like 500 books. I have been an avid reader like all my life, and I fiction, not non-fiction. I cannot recommend you all like books and everything. Always fiction and stories, but I love reading, and I kind of felt that it always has a deeper approach towards things and towards the story. Like it always kind of like has a certain deeper approach towards the story, like than just viewing it on a certain motion, like in a motion view. Let's say, for example, like you see Harry Potter and you watch Harry Potter, then you know, and you do not call yourself a Harry Potter fan if you've not read Harry Potter, because viewing doesn't give you that. It doesn't give you that touch on being a Potterhead. It doesn't let you know. It doesn't tell you what being a Potterhead is or what magic does the wizard world has. It just doesn't tell you.
And then it doesn't even matter how many times you have watched the movie. The person besides you, as a person sitting next to you, has read the book.
Yeah.
Then he or she will always have a upper hand.
Yeah. Plus, I felt that people who read have their critical thinking is much higher than people who do not read. Like I always feel that people who do not read have a very upper ka approach towards things. Like they never think about the possibilities of what if this, what if that, or they never sense it. When you read, you kind of analyze things on a deeper level. Like I always feel that people who like I have a friend who doesn't read at all, and I always tell him that you should start reading somewhere. And I kind of feel that people who do not read have a white or a black approach towards life. They never have the gray, or they cannot see the gray. And if they can see the gray, they always comprehend it to be black, but that shouldn't be the case. Because being gray is gray. You're morally great. You could have flaws, and I don't think people who read kind of like subject themselves to critical thinking, which I feel readers do.
See, you will get to know world better. You will have a better creative approach, a better imagination than the people who don't read, right? Because जब हम लोग पढ़ते हैं तो we just read and we put our imagination working कि हाँ ये कैसा होगा. Like I was reading Immortals of Melua, the book by Amish Tripathi. The way he has explained, the way he has described the whole Suryavanshi empire, I was able to visualize it. जो भी है सब कुछ मैं I was able to visualize it completely.
Like how you said that you were able to visualize it at a much larger space than, let's say, somebody who's viewing the same thing wouldn't have an approach like how you have, Akash, right?
Yeah.
Because you viewed it you read it on that level, that you kind of like visualize it on that level. So, for example, my favorite writer is I like Arundhati Roy a lot. I think she is the only woman out there, in India, like taking writing to this level. And I just love how she puts things into, how she has described everything into, in The God of Small Things. That's an award-winning book, and I just love it. Like that kind of like changed my perception towards it. And similarly, I also like Jhumpa Lahiri a lot. She is very underrated. Like nobody has viewed her writing to another level. She's like what? But she beautifully writes, like whatever her emotions are. And I think I wrote this one book by Jhumpa Lahiri, and it was a fictional story where she had described how she found out her mother had an extramarital affair with her uncle, and she found out about it, and she was obviously gradually very upset about it, but then she had her own perception towards it. And then she kind of like started viewing the story from their page and their perspective, and then she was absolutely okay with it. And she told and she writes that she'll take it to the grave. She'll never address it out to them, and that's so beautiful that you kind of like see people and see humans as flawed people, and then still embrace whatever decisions they've taken in their lives. I don't think this kind of critical thinking a non-reader will have.
I'll tell you one instance where it was it is a funny instance actually. I have a friend Rajat, and I know him since sixth grade or something. We've known for each other for almost 20 years now. So he's a very big Harry Potter fan. He has read all the books and the Cursed Child and each and everything. He has read it all, and he has read it multiple times.
Okay.
And when he appeared for the interview for IIM, the interviewer was also a Harry Potter fan, and and all they discussed during that IIM interview was Harry Potter. Just that, nothing more. And his interview was around for 10 to 15 minutes, and he was selected in IIM Udaipur.
And that's so beautiful. That's the magic of writers and readers. It's a whole new, different world. And then you reading those, those young romantic people novels is not what reading is. Reading takes you to another level.
Yeah.
Takes you. Obviously, all of us have read those books. It's cool, but like writing has its own magic, and I have felt that people in India read a lot of like international books. Like we know writers who are like out there, like Charles Dickens or Shakespeare, or like
Sir J.R.R. Tolkien.
yeah, exactly. But people have always underrated in Indian literature, or especially people in India, because they do not know the power Indian literature holds. Not so many people know Indian writers as well. Like you ask somebody who reads Indian writers, I bet they'll say Chetan Bhagat and Joy Datta. Nobody else. Just people do not know as much, or like just these 2 3 names, or let's say people say Sudha Murthy. That's the most common book. But there are so many writers and so many good books out there in the market who have not got that vivid recognition in India. Because obviously the publishing houses that we have are also very rare, and there are only 3 publication houses that I can think of right now in India. Wouldn't name them, you know them. But they charge lakhs of rupees to get your book published. So let's say even if you write something tomorrow, or if I write something tomorrow, and we might write like exclusively like the best thing in the world, but we might not get that recognition in India.
Yeah, exactly. You know Bikram Datta, right?
Yeah, I know, and I actually no, I don't follow him actually, but I have seen a lot of his classmates who I follow, and I have seen them share books or by Bikram, or even I think the poetry by Bikram.
Yeah, actually, he had completed his first book, The Undercover, in I guess 2018, and he's going to complete his second book by this year's end. So, actually, see the thing people underestimate about Indian authors is that Indian authors actually have that power to take you to a world, to a different world, and then expand that world from there. So
Yeah.
that is one of the most important things we have, and that's what Bikram has done in his book. I've read it and I have
Sure.
loved it. I was just eagerly waiting for his second book to finish, but he has not completed it yet.
I think you should forward the link to me so that even I'll order. And please do tell Bikram as well that I'd be very keen to read a book of his. Like I remember him, and I always knew that he was always into like some sort of fine arts. Like I saw, like how I knew you, I always knew him as well. But I think I read it through some common friends that he has written something, and that's just so great.
He'll get to know. He'll get to know automatically as soon as he watches this podcast. He'll get to know that you are interested in reading this book. He might also send you a signed copy.
Oh, that would be great.
Okay. So that's all from my side. Do you have any closing thoughts, Shivpriya?
No, I am actually just very glad that we did it today, and I'm like foremost, I'm glad that you wanted me. I've spoken a lot of times before, but like speaking to somebody from the same roots and same background and same sort of thinking capacity and everything is just so good. And I because now that I've talked to you like twice, I have kind of realized that we come from similar backgrounds and similar roots and have achieved whatever we are today because we took that risk, we took that plunge, and I'm like really glad to speak to you about it.
Okay. So thank you, Shivpriya. Thank you for giving us your time, and much appreciated.
Thank you, Akash. Let me know once you're back. We'll catch up. And I know you stay in Pune, but it's just over here. So, but we'll catch up once you're back.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.